Admiral Jake Harrison stood on the bridge of the UES Liberty, staring at the message that had just arrived from deep space. The green text on his screen made his blood run cold. After 3 years of watching and waiting, the aliens had finally made their move. "Sir, the transmission is being broadcast to every major government on Earth," said Captain Lisa Morgan, his tactical advisor. She looked pale as she read her own copy of the message. "They're not just talking to us. They're talking to everyone." Jake read the alien words again, even though he had memorized them already. The message was simple and direct. Humanity had 72 hours to surrender all military ships, weapons, and defense systems. All humans would be moved to 12 worlds that the aliens had chosen for them. These worlds would be safe places where humans could live under alien protection. The message called it a generous offer. The aliens said they were saving humanity from itself. "Get me President Sullivan on the secure line," Jake ordered. "And wake up General Brooks. He needs to see this." Lisa nodded and started making the calls. Jake walked to the large window that showed Earth floating in space below them. The blue and white planet looked so peaceful from up here. It was hard to believe that in 3 days, everything might change forever. The aliens called themselves the Galactic Confederation. They had 7 different species working together. For 3 years, they had been watching Earth through hidden probes and spy satellites. They had studied human history, human wars, and human technology. What they saw scared them, Jake remembered. The first time humans had detected the alien watchers. It was Dr. Amy Watson who found the strange energy signals near Jupiter. She had been tracking what looked like a broken asteroid, but the rock was sending out signals that no natural object should make. When they got closer, they found their first alien probe. That discovery changed everything. Earth's governments had worked together in secret to study the alien technology. They learned that the galaxy was full of intelligent life, but none of it was friendly to newcomers. The Confederation controlled most of the known galaxy. They decided which species could join them and which species were too dangerous to exist. The door to the bridge opened, and President Kate Sullivan appeared on the main screen. Her face looked tired, but her eyes were sharp and angry. "Jake, tell me you have good news," she said. "I'm afraid not, Madam President. The aliens have given us their final offer. Surrender, or face what they call protective containment measures, which means they'll attack us and force us to surrender. Then they'll move all humans to the worlds they've chosen. We'll be like animals in a zoo." President Sullivan was quiet for a moment. Behind her, Jake could see other government officials talking, in urgent whispers. Finally, she spoke again. "How long do we have?" 72 hours from the time the message was sent. That gives us about 68 hours now. And what about our defenses? Can we fight them? Jake looked at Lisa, who shook her head slightly. The public numbers were not encouraging. The Confederation had millions of ships. Their weapons could destroy entire planets. Their technology was hundreds of years ahead of anything humans had built. But the public numbers didn't tell the whole story. "Madam President, I recommend we activate Protocol Omega immediately." President Sullivan's eyes widened. Protocol Omega was Earth's most secret plan. Only a few dozen people in the entire world knew about it. It was humanity's last hope if the aliens ever demanded surrender. "Are you sure, Jake? Once we start that, there's no going back. The aliens have already made their choice for us. They're not offering real peace. They're offering slavery with better living conditions." General Ryan Brooks joined the call from his underground command center. His weathered face showed no surprise at the news. He had been preparing for this day since the first alien probe was discovered. "Madam President, our intelligence teams have been studying the alien message. They've also been monitoring Confederation communications for the past 6 months. The aliens think we're primitive and weak. They believe we'll surrender without a fight. Will we?" asked President Sullivan. "No, ma'am. We won't. Jake felt a strange calm settle over him. For 3 years, humanity had been preparing for this moment. They had built weapons in secret. They had trained soldiers for battles in space. They had designed ships that could fight against alien technology. The aliens thought they were being merciful. They believed they were saving humanity from destroying itself. In their long history, every species they had made this offer to had eventually accepted it. Some fought for a while, but they all gave up in the end. The aliens had never met humans before. General Brooks, how long do you need to get our forces ready? Jake asked. 12 hours to activate all hidden bases. 24 hours to have our full fleet in position. The aliens won't expect us to move this fast. President Sullivan looked at both men carefully. You're both sure about this? We're talking about war with an enemy that controls most of the galaxy. Madam President, Jake said, they've already declared war on us. The only question is whether we fight back or let them win without trying. Then give the order. Activate Protocol, Omega. Jake felt his heart beating faster as he turned to Lisa. Send the signal to all hidden bases. Use authentication code Omega. Tell them the game has started. Lisa's fingers flew over her controls. Within seconds, secret bases throughout the solar system would receive the message. Ships that had been hidden for years would start their engines. Soldiers who had trained their entire lives for this moment would take their positions. The aliens expected Earth's surrender in 72 hours. Instead, they were about to discover what happened when someone threatened humanity's freedom. Earth's answer to peace talks wouldn't be words or negotiations. It would be war. Dr. Amy Watson walked through the hidden corridors of Ceres Base, her footsteps echoing in the metal halls. 3 years ago, this asteroid had looked like any other rock floating in space. Now it housed humanity's most advanced research facility, in one of their secret shipyards. She stopped at a massive window that looked out into the construction bay. 50 human warships hung in the zero-gravity, their hulls dark and angular. These ships looked nothing like the large, smooth vessels that the Confederation used. Human ships were built for speed and hitting hard, not for looking impressive. Dr. Watson, Admiral Harrison is asking for an update, said Commander Steve Collins, walking up behind her. Steve was in charge of the fleet operations at Ceres Base. He was also one of the few people who knew the full extent of humanity's hidden preparations. Tell the Admiral that all 50 ships here are ready for combat. The new weapon systems have passed every test. Amy pointed to the nearest ship. That's the UES Striker. She can accelerate twice as fast as anything the aliens have. Her weapons can punch through their shields because we're using kinetic projectiles instead of energy weapons. Steve nodded. What about the stealth systems? Even better than we hoped. The alien sensors are designed to detect ships that use their type of technology. Our ships use completely different power sources and materials. To their sensors, we'll look like small asteroids or space debris. Amy had spent 3 years reverse engineering alien technology from the probes they had captured. But instead of copying alien designs, her team had found ways to make human technology work better. The aliens built their ships to last for centuries and impress their enemies. Humans built their ships to win fights quickly and then get repaired afterward. On the other side of the solar system, Colonel Nina Edwards was briefing her Special Forces team aboard the hidden base on Titan. 200 of Earth's best soldiers stood in perfect formation, wearing armor that looked like something from a science fiction movie. Listen up, Nina said, her voice carrying clearly through the briefing room. In 18 hours, we're going to do something that has never been done before. We're going to board and capture alien warships while they're still fighting. The soldiers looked excited rather than nervous. They had trained for this mission every day for 2 years. They knew their equipment, their tactics, and their targets. The aliens are physically stronger than us, Nina continued. They're bigger, they have thicker skin, and they can survive in environments that would kill us quickly. But they have two major weaknesses. She activated a holographic display that showed the inside of an alien ship. First, their ships are designed for species that are much larger than humans. The corridors are wide, the rooms are big, and there are lots of places for us to hide and move quickly. The hologram changed to show alien soldiers in their armor. Second, they have never fought an enemy in close combat. For thousands of years, their battles have been fought between big ships firing at each other from long distances. They don't know how to fight when the enemy is right next to them. Private Jake Miller raised his hand. Colonel, what about their weapons? Their personal weapons are designed to work in the vacuum of space and in different atmospheres. That makes them powerful, but also slow to aim and fire. Our weapons are faster and more accurate at close range. Nina looked at each soldier carefully. Remember, our job is not to destroy their ships. Our job is to capture them intact, so our people can learn how their technology works. Every alien ship we take makes our entire fleet stronger. Back on Earth, President Kate Sullivan sat in the secure conference room deep under the White House. Around the table were the leaders of every major nation on the planet. For the first time in human history, every government was working together toward the same goal. The alien fleet will reach our outer sensor grid in 36 hours, reported General Brooks. Our intelligence suggests they're sending about 200 ships. They believe that's enough to force our surrender. How many ships do we have ready? Asked the Prime Minister of Canada. 412 ships across all our hidden bases, Brooks replied. Plus another 68 ships that will finish construction in the next 24 hours. The President of Brazil looked worried. Can we really fight ships that are so much more advanced than ours? General Brooks smiled grimly. Ma'am, advanced doesn't always mean better in a fight. Their ships are like flying cities. They're huge, heavily armored, and designed to intimidate enemies into surrendering. Our ships are like fighter jets compared to their passenger planes. Admiral Harrison joined the meeting by video link from the UES Liberty. Madam President, we've received new intelligence from our deep space monitors. The alien fleet is commanded by someone called High Mediator Zenthkar. He's the same alien who sent us the surrender demand. What do we know about him? According to the alien communications we've intercepted, he's considered an expert on dealing with primitive species. He's convinced that humans will surrender as soon as they see his fleet. He's even prepared a speech about how merciful the Confederation is being. President Sullivan felt a cold anger building in her chest. A speech about mercy. How kind of him. There's more, Admiral Harrison continued. The alien fleet is not expecting any resistance. They're planning to accept our surrender in a formal ceremony. They've even designated which ship will carry the human delegation that surrenders Earth. Do they now? President Sullivan's voice was dangerously quiet. General Brooks, do we have a ship that can pretend to be this delegation? Yes, ma'am. Captain Ben Parker has volunteered to take the UES Defiance on that mission. He'll carry our real response to their peace talks. And what response is that? Admiral Harrison answered for them all. If they want our freedom, they can come and take it. Across the solar system, human ships began moving into position. They used flight paths that looked like normal asteroid movements or maintenance flights between space stations. The aliens had been watching Earth for 3 years, but they had never seen humanity prepare for war. Commander Julie Martinez piloted her stealth ship past Jupiter, leading a squadron of 20 attack ships toward their assigned position. Her ships were invisible to alien sensors, looking like nothing more than small chunks of ice and rock drifting through space. Martinez to base, she whispered into her communication system. We're in position near the outer system boundary. All ships are dark and waiting. Similar reports came in from hidden ships throughout the solar system. Humanity's trap was almost ready. On his command ship at the edge of alien space, High Mediator Zenthkar reviewed the final preparations for accepting Earth's surrender. He had performed this same ceremony dozens of times, with other species. It was always the same. The primitive species would send a small delegation to formally surrender their world. He would make a speech about the Confederation's mercy. Then the new species would be relocated to their assigned worlds. Zen-Kar had no doubt that humanity would follow the same pattern. His intelligence reports showed that humans were aggressive and warlike, but they were also intelligent enough to recognize superior force. When they saw his fleet, they would understand that resistance was impossible. He was looking forward to this assignment. Humans seemed like an interesting species, and their new reservation worlds were quite pleasant. Some species actually thanked him after they were relocated and realized how much better their new lives were. In 60 hours, the alien fleet would reach Earth's space. High Mediator Zenthkar expected to be accepting humanity's surrender and giving his mercy speech. Instead, he was about to learn what humans meant when they talked about fighting for freedom. Captain Ben Parker sat in the pilot's chair of the UES Defiance, watching the alien fleet approach through his ship's sensors. 200 massive vessels moved through space in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with energy shields and weapon arrays. Each ship was 10 times larger than his small vessel. "Sir, the alien flagship is requesting communication," reported Lieutenant Alex Turner from the communications station. "They want us to prepare for formal surrender procedures." Ben smiled grimly. "Put me through to them." The main screen filled with the image of High Mediator Zenthkar. The alien looked like a cross between a lizard and a bird, with smooth scales and intelligent eyes. He wore elaborate robes that probably cost more than Ben's entire ship. "Human vessel, I am High Mediator Zenthkar of the Galactic Confederation. You will follow our escort ships to the designated position for your surrender ceremony. Your species has made a wise choice in accepting our protection." Ben looked directly into the alien's eyes. "High Mediator, I have a message from Earth's leaders. Admiral Harrison asked me to deliver it personally. Proceed with your message." Ben's voice was calm and clear. "Earth's answer to your peace talks is simple. If you want our freedom, come and take it." The alien's expression changed from confident to confused. "I do not understand. Are you not here to surrender your world?" "No, sir, we are not." Before the alien could respond, Ben cut the communication and activated his ship's emergency beacon. The signal went out on a frequency that looked like a distress call, but it was actually the attack signal that human ships throughout the solar system had been waiting for. High Mediator Zenthkar stared at his blank screen in disbelief. In 300 years of handling primitive species, nothing like this had ever happened. He turned to his tactical officer. "Scan the area for additional human ships. They may be attempting some form of desperate attack." "Sir, I'm detecting multiple contacts appearing throughout the system," the officer reported, his voice rising with alarm. "They're coming from everywhere." On the tactical display, red dots began appearing as human ships dropped their stealth systems and activated their weapons. What had looked like empty space moments before was suddenly filled with over 400 human warships. Commander Julie Martinez led the first attack wave, her squadron accelerating toward the alien flagship at speeds the aliens had never seen before. The alien ships began turning to face the attack, but they moved like giant whales compared to the darting human vessels. "All ships, target their shield generators," Julie commanded. "Hit them fast and keep moving." The human ships opened fire with weapons the aliens had never encountered. Instead of energy beams or plasma bolts, the humans used solid projectiles accelerated to incredible speeds. The kinetic weapons punched through alien shields like they weren't even there. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Blake watched from her engineering station as the alien flagship's shields flickered and failed. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons she reported to Admiral Harrison. "Our kinetic rounds are going right through them." The aliens tried to return fire, but their massive weapons were designed for long-range battles between slow-moving ships. The human vessels were too small, too fast, and too close for the alien gunners to track effectively. Captain Rob Johnson commanded a squadron of assault ships that specialized in close combat. His ships dove between the alien vessels, firing at point-blank range before the aliens could react. "This is like fighting elephants with motorcycles," Rob laughed over the communication channel. "They can't hit what they can't catch." High Mediator Zenthkar watched in horror as his fleet was torn apart by ships that should have been no threat at all. His tactical officer was shouting damage reports, but Zenthkar could barely understand what was happening. "How are they penetrating our shields?" he demanded. "Their weapons are primitive kinetic projectiles, sir. Our shields were designed to stop advanced energy weapons. These solid rounds are passing through the energy barriers without being affected. Then activate our defensive guns. Destroy them, sir. Our defensive systems cannot track targets moving that fast at such close range. They're inside our minimum engagement distance." On the alien ship's bridge, alarms were screaming as human weapons tore through the hull. The ship shuddered with each impact, and lights flickered as power systems failed. Captain Lisa Morgan coordinated the attack from the UES Liberty, watching the battle display with satisfaction. 3 years of planning and preparation were paying off perfectly. "All squadrons, the aliens are trying to retreat to long range," she announced. "Don't let them get away. Stay close and keep hitting them." The human ships swarmed around the alien vessels like angry bees attacking intruders. Every time an alien ship tried to pull back to use its long-range weapons, human ships would accelerate ahead of it and force it to stay in close combat. Dr. Amy Watson monitored the battle from Ceres Base, analyzing the performance of every human weapon and system. Her designs were working even better than she had hoped. "Admiral, the new armor plating is stopping their energy weapons completely," she reported. "And our engines are giving us a 3-to-1 speed advantage. They literally cannot catch us." Admiral Harrison felt a fierce pride as he watched humanity's first space battle unfold. The aliens had expected to find a primitive species begging for mercy. Instead, they had found warriors who refused to surrender and had the skills to back up their defiance. The battle lasted only 6 hours. When it was over, half of the alien fleet was destroyed, and the other half was badly damaged and surrendering. High Mediator Zenthkar's flagship was a drifting wreck, its engines dead and its weapons offline. Colonel Nina Edwards and her boarding teams were already moving toward the disabled alien ships. Their mission was to capture as many vessels as possible and take prisoners for interrogation. "Remember, we need their computers and communication systems intact," Nina reminded her teams as they approached the alien flagship. "Every piece of information we can get makes us stronger for the next battle." High Mediator Zenthkar sat in his damaged command chair, trying to understand what had just happened. His species had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They had never been defeated by a primitive race. It was impossible. "Sir, the humans are demanding our surrender," his communication officer reported. "Tell them, ... Zenthkar began, then stopped. What could he tell them? That this was all a mistake. That the Confederation would send a larger fleet. That would only mean more death and destruction. Tell them we surrender. The alien fleet that had come to accept Earth's submission was now surrendering to the planet they had planned to conquer. Admiral Harrison received the surrender message with grim satisfaction. "Secure all alien vessels and treat their crews according to military law," he ordered, "and send a message to Earth Command. Tell them the first battle is over, and we won." But Harrison knew this was just the beginning. The Galactic Confederation had millions of ships and dozens of member species. When they learned that their fleet had been destroyed by humans, they would send everything they had to crush Earth. The aliens had wanted to give humanity peace through surrender. Instead, humanity was going to give the galaxy peace through victory. The war for human freedom had begun, and Earth intended to win it. News of the destroyed compliance fleet spread through the Galactic Confederation like wildfire. Council members who had considered the human situation a minor problem suddenly realized they were facing something they had never encountered before. A primitive species that had actually won a battle against them. Supreme Commander Velthane stood before the emergency council session, his four arms gesturing angrily as he spoke. His species, the hegemony, had been the military backbone of the Confederation for over 2,000 years. They had never lost a fleet to anyone. The humans destroyed 200 ships in 6 hours, he reported, his voice filled with disbelief. They used primitive kinetic weapons and somehow made them effective against our advanced defenses. Council members Exprima, representing the scientific cast, examined the battle data with growing alarm. Their ships are individually weaker than ours, but they work together in ways we don't understand. They attack from multiple directions, simultaneously, and never stay in one place long enough for our weapons to target them. How is this possible? Demanded Chancellor Korthrex, the Council's leader. Our intelligence reports said humans were a violent but primitive species. They should not have been able to challenge our technology. Supreme Commander Velthane's expression was grim. Our intelligence was wrong. The humans have been preparing for this fight for years. They studied our technology and found ways to defeat it. Meanwhile, Admiral Harrison was leading humanity's counterattack from his new flagship, the UES Vengeance. Built using captured alien technology, combined with human innovation, it was faster and more powerful than any ship in Earth's original fleet. Target confirmed, reported Commander Sarah Blake from the engineering station. Kepler Station is the Confederation's main military coordination hub for this entire sector. If we can take it, their response to our offensive will be delayed by weeks. Harrison studied the tactical display, showing their target. Kepler Station was a massive structure orbiting a red giant star, protected by a fleet of 500 alien warships. It was the largest military target humanity had ever attempted to attack. How many ships do we have for this assault? Harrison asked. 2,000 ships, sir, replied Captain Julie Martinez, now serving as his fleet coordinator. Half of them are new construction, using hybrid technology. The other half are captured alien vessels with human crews. Harrison smiled. In the 18 months since the first battle, humanity had been very busy. Every captured alien ship had been studied, reverse-engineered, and improved. Human engineers had found ways to make alien technology work better than its original designers ever imagined. Dr. Amy Watson had established research facilities on 12 captured alien worlds, where teams of human scientists worked around the clock to understand Confederation technology. What they found surprised everyone. The aliens have been using the same basic designs for centuries, Amy reported during a secure communication from her lab on Proxima Station. They're so confident in their technological superiority that they never bother to innovate. Our weapons work because they've never faced anything like them before. Captain Rob Johnson was preparing his Marine units for the most ambitious operation yet attempted, boarding and capturing an entire alien space station while it was still defended by hundreds of ships. Listen up, Rob addressed his assault teams. From the briefing room of the UES Stormbreaker, Kepler Station has a crew of over 50,000 aliens from 6 different species. Our job is to take control of the station's command center and force their surrender. The Marines looked confident, despite the overwhelming odds. They had successfully boarded and captured dozens of alien ships over the past year. Each victory had taught them more about how to fight in alien environments against alien enemies. What about their personal defenses? Asked Sergeant Kelly Wright, Rob's second-in-command. Same as always, Rob replied. They're bigger and stronger than us, but they've never learned to fight in confined spaces. We'll use the station's own corridors and maintenance tunnels against them. The assault on Kepler Station began with a coordinated attack by the entire human fleet. Unlike their first battle, this time the aliens were ready for human tactics. They had studied the reports from High Mediator Zenthkar and modified their defenses accordingly. Lieutenant Commander Alex Turner led a squadron of fast attack ships against the station's outer defenses. The aliens had placed their ships in overlapping defensive positions and programmed their weapons to fire in coordinated patterns, designed to catch fast-moving targets. They've learned from our previous attacks, Alex reported as his ships came under heavy fire. They're not trying to track individual ships anymore. They're filling entire areas of space with weapons fire. Then we'll have to teach them a new lesson, Harrison replied. All ships implement attack pattern deltas. The human fleet suddenly split apart and attacked from dozens of different directions simultaneously. The alien defensive plan, designed to stop conventional attacks, couldn't handle an assault coming from above, below, and all sides at once, Commander. Steve Collins coordinated the boarding action from his flagship, the UES Ranger. Hundreds of small human ships launched from the main fleet, each carrying a team of Marines, toward the massive space station. Remember, we need to capture their communication systems intact, Steve reminded the assault teams. Every piece of information we can get about Confederation fleet movements makes our next battle easier. The Marines fought their way through the station's corridors, using tactics that the aliens had never seen before. Instead of advancing in formation, like traditional armies, the humans split into small teams that moved through ventilation systems, maintenance shafts, and service tunnels. Sergeant Kelly Wright led her team through a power conduit that was barely large enough for humans to crawl through. The aliens who designed the station never imagined that an enemy would use such small spaces to move around. Target the computer cores on level 47, she whispered into her communication system. Beta team will secure the command center while we grab their data files. The aliens fought bravely, but they were facing an enemy that used completely different tactics than anything in their military training. Human soldiers appeared from directions the aliens didn't know existed, attacked from unexpected angles, and disappeared before the aliens could respond effectively. Within 12 hours, Kepler Station was under human control. The Confederation's main military coordination center for the entire sector was now running under human management, with alien officers working under human supervision. Admiral Harrison toured the captured station with a sense of amazement, but the technology here was centuries ahead of anything Earth had possessed just 2 years ago. But more importantly, the humans now had access to the Confederation's complete military database. What have we learned? Harrison asked Dr. Watson, who was already analyzing the captured data. The Confederation has been fighting the same way for over 1,000 years, she replied. They have massive fleets, overwhelming firepower, and excellent defensive technology. But they have no idea how to handle an enemy that doesn't fight the way they expect. More importantly, added Captain Martinez, we now know the locations of every major Confederation military base within 50 light-years of Earth. We can hit them before they can organize a proper counterattack. The war was spreading as human forces, operating from captured bases and mobile fleets, struck at Confederation targets across multiple star systems. Each victory provided humanity with more alien technology to study and more intelligence about enemy weaknesses. General Brooks coordinated the overall war effort from his new headquarters on the captured world of New Geneva. Human colonists were already beginning to settle on planets liberated from Confederation control, while human shipyards worked around the clock to build more vessels. We're winning, Brooks reported to President Sullivan during their weekly strategy meeting. The aliens are losing ships faster than they can replace them, and they still don't understand how we're doing it. What's our next target? President Sullivan asked. Admiral Harrison answered from his position near the front lines. The Confederation is trying to organize a massive counterattack using ships from their core worlds. We're going to hit their staging area before they can launch it. The aliens had offered humanity peace through surrender. Instead, humanity was bringing the galaxy peace through victory. But the war was far from over, and the Confederation's core worlds still had resources that could overwhelm Earth if they were properly organized. The real test would come when humanity faced the Confederation's full military might, instead of just their frontier fleets. 18 months after the first battle, Admiral Harrison stood on the bridge of his flagship, reading a message that would have seemed impossible 2 years ago. The Galactic Confederation was requesting a ceasefire. They wanted to negotiate. "Sir, the alien delegation is requesting permission to come aboard," reported Captain Lisa Morgan. Their lead negotiator is High Mediator Zenthkar, the same alien who demanded our surrender at the beginning of this war. Harrison smiled grimly. "How? Times change. Tell them they can come aboard, but they'll be received with full military honors. I want them to understand exactly who they're dealing with now." The meeting took place in the main conference room of the UES Vengeance, now serving as Harrison's mobile command center near the captured fortress at Wolf 359. The room was filled with human military officers, all wearing uniforms that showed the insignia of victories won against impossible odds. High Mediator Zenthkar entered the room, looking very different from the confident leader who had demanded Earth's surrender. His elaborate robes were replaced by simple diplomatic attire, and his eyes showed the weight of defeat. Behind him came representatives from all 7 species of the Confederation Council. "Admiral Harrison," Zenthkar said, his voice carefully respectful, "I come before you not as a conqueror, but as a representative of species who wish to end this conflict." "You're welcome to speak," Harrison replied, "but understand that you're not negotiating from a position of strength anymore." Zenthkar nodded slowly. "We understand. In 18 months, humanity has accomplished what we believed was impossible. You have defeated our fleets, captured our bases, and proven that our assumptions about primitive species were wrong." Council member Zix Prima stepped forward. "We have studied your military tactics and technology. Your species possesses something that the galaxy has forgotten: the ability to adapt quickly under pressure and the willingness to risk everything for freedom. We call it being human," Harrison said simply. President Sullivan arrived aboard the UES Constitution for the final negotiations. She entered the conference room with the confidence of a leader whose people had won their independence through courage and determination. The alien delegates rose respectfully as she took her seat. "Madame President," Zenthkar began, "we come to offer humanity full membership in the Galactic Confederation as equal partners, not as a protected species." "What changed your mind?" President Sullivan asked directly. Supreme Commander Velthane, representing the Confederation's military forces, answered honestly. "You taught us something we had forgotten. We have been so focused on maintaining order and preventing conflict that we stopped remembering why freedom is worth fighting for. Your species has shown us that peace built on fear and submission is not real peace," added Chancellor Quothrex. "Real peace comes from mutual respect between equals who choose to work together." General Brooks, participating by video link from Earth, presented humanity's terms for joining the Confederation. Human military forces will be integrated into Confederation defense structures, but we will maintain our own command structure and tactical independence. Our technology and methods will be shared with species who want to learn them. Dr. Amy Watson, now heading the new Interspecies Research Initiative, explained humanity's vision for the future. "We want to combine human innovation with alien scientific resources. Neither of our approaches alone is as strong as what we can create together." The negotiations continued for several days, but the outcome was never in doubt. The Confederation had learned that humanity could not be conquered or controlled. The only choice was to accept them as equal partners, or face continued war against an enemy that grew stronger with every battle. Captain Julie Martinez was given command of the first mixed-species crew aboard the exploration vessel U.S. New Horizons. Her mission was to take humanity's restless spirit to the galaxy's frontier, exploring unknown regions that even the ancient Confederation had never reached. "It's strange," Julie remarked to her mixed crew of humans and aliens as they prepared for their first mission. "A year ago, we were enemies. Now we're working together to explore the unknown." Her hegemony tactical officer, a being called Kethn, replied thoughtfully, "Perhaps that is the human gift to the galaxy. You showed us that former enemies can become trusted allies if they respect each other." Captain Rob Johnson established the first joint military academy on the captured world of New Geneva. Human and alien soldiers trained together, learning from each other's strengths and covering each other's weaknesses. "The galaxy has new threats," Rob explained to his first class of mixed-species cadets. "There are hostile forces beyond our borders that neither humans nor Confederation species could face alone. But together, we're stronger than anything we might encounter." Colonel Nina Edwards oversaw the integration of human special forces with alien military units. Her teams taught Confederation soldiers the art of adaptive tactics and thinking quickly under pressure, while learning alien techniques for operating in hostile environments. "We're not trying to make aliens fight like humans," Nina explained. "We're trying to help everyone fight smarter and work better as a team." Admiral Harrison eventually retired from active duty to become Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Confederation Council. His office on the Council Station was filled with mementos from humanity's war for independence, reminding everyone of the price of freedom. "People sometimes ask me if the war was worth it," Harrison told a group of young human diplomats. "They wonder if we could have found a peaceful solution that didn't require so much fighting." He looked out the window at the mixed fleets of human and alien ships patrolling together in perfect formation. "The answer is simple. The aliens offered us peace through submission. We gave them peace through mutual respect. The difference between those two things is worth any price." Dr. Watson's research teams made breakthrough discoveries that benefited all Confederation species. Human innovation combined with alien scientific knowledge produced technologies that neither species could have developed alone. Medical advances, faster-than-light communication systems, and defensive technologies that protected entire star systems. President Sullivan, now serving her second term, often reflected on how much had changed since that first alien message. Earth was no longer a single isolated world. Humans lived on dozens of planets throughout Confederation space, while aliens visited Earth as tourists, students, and friends. "We fought a war to protect our freedom," she said during a speech commemorating the war's end. "But we found something better than freedom. We found a place in the galaxy where we belong, not as subjects or rulers, but as equals among equals." Hi, Mediators Nthkar, now serving as the Confederation's ambassador to Earth, had learned to appreciate human culture during his time on the planet. He often visited the memorial to the war's casualties, thinking about how different things might have been. "I once believed that peace required control," he told Harrison during one of their regular meetings. "Humans taught me that real peace requires courage. The courage to respect those who are different from you, and the courage to change when you discover you are wrong." The galaxy had indeed found peace, but not the kind the Confederation had originally envisioned. Instead of peace through submission and control, there was peace through partnership and mutual respect. Former enemies had become allies, working together to face new challenges and explore new frontiers. Earth's answer to the peace talks had been war, but the final result was a better peace than anyone had imagined possible. Humanity had won more than their freedom. They had won their place among the stars as equals, respected for their courage and valued for their unique perspective on what it meant to be free. The war was over, but the adventure was just beginning.